Septuagesima Sunday. The Lord's Day within 70 days of Easter. The lesson is taken from the book entitled The Handbook, written by St. Austin, Bishop of Hippo. The Lord threatened man with the punishment of death, in case he sinned. Thus did he gift him with free will, while he yet kept his lordship over him, and helped him with the dread of destruction. And so he put him in that happy garden, under the very shadow of the tree of life, in that good place from whence, had he kept his righteousness, he might have passed to a better. But the first man sinned, and was banished from Eden, and infected all his descendants with the disease of sin, poisoning their very root, and bringing upon all that sentence of death and damnation, which he had earned for himself. So that all that descend by fleshly generation from Adam, and from the guilty woman, who was the cause of his sin and the partaker of his punishment, derive from them original sin, whereby they are drawn through a way of diverse sins and sorrows, towards that final ruin which they shall share with the rebel angels who are at once their corruptors, their lords, and their comrades. So by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death passed upon all men, in whom all have sinned. By the world the apostle signifieth in this place all mankind. Thus then hath the matter stood. The damned mass of humanity lay in misery, or rather wallowed in it, and fell from bad to worse, till it joined the company of the sinning angels, and both together suffered the deserved punishment of their vile treason. To the wrath of God appertaineth whatever sin man, through the blind and untamed sting of his flesh, willingly committeth, and whatever punishment, declared and open, he unwillingly suffereth. There is, indeed, no pause in that goodness of the Creator whereby he giveth even to the traitor angels life and strength, which if he gave not, they would be annihilated, and whereby he formeth the seed of men, though they come of a corrupt and condemned stock, quickeneth them, strengtheneth and fitteth their limbs for the changing seasons of their life, extendeth their knowledge in divers places, and giveth them wherein to live. It hath been his will rather to draw good out of evil, than to suffer that there should be no evil. Amen. Homily by Pope St. Gregory, the Great, on the Gospel. We hear that the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning, to hire laborers into his vineyard. Who indeed is more justly to be likened to an householder than our Maker, who is the head of the household of faith, bearing rule over them whom he hath made, and being master of his chosen ones in the world, as a master over those that are in his house? He it is that hath the church for a vineyard that ceaseth not to bring forth branches of the true vine, from righteous Abel to the last of the elect that shall be born in the world. This householder, then, for the cultivation of his vineyard, goeth out early in the morning, and at the 3rd hour, and the 6th hour, and the 9th hour, and the 11th hour, to hire laborers into his vineyard. Thus the Lord, from the beginning to the end of the world, ceaseth not to gather together preachers for the instruction of his faithful people. The early morning of the world was from Adam until Noah, the 3rd hour from Noah until Abraham, the 6th hour from Abraham until Moses, the 9th hour from Moses until the coming of the Lord, the 11th hour from the coming of the Lord until the end of the world. At this 11th hour are sent forth as preachers the holy apostles, who have received full wages, albeit they be come in late. For the cultivation of his vineyard, that is, the instruction of his people, the Lord hath never ceased to send into it laborers. First, by the fathers, then, by the prophets and teachers of the law, and lastly, by the apostles he hath dressed and tended the lives of his people, as the owner of a vineyard dresseth and tendeth it by means of workmen. Whoever in whatever degree joined to a right faith the teaching of righteousness, was so far one of God's laborers in God's vineyard. By the laborers at early morning, and at the 3rd hour, the 6th hour, and the 9th hour, may be understood God's ancient people, the Hebrews, who strove to worship him with a right faith in company with his chosen ones from the very beginning of the world, and thus continually labored in his vineyard. And now, at the 11th hour, it is said unto the Gentiles also, Why stand ye here all the day idle? Amen. Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.